Goddamn Brenda's exploding like a water balloon. The worms driving my friends around like they're goddamn skin cars. People are spitting acid at me, turning you into cottage cheese, and now there's no fucking goddamn Mr. Pibb.
Jesus Christ, Jack, let me get right on it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska, and with me, as always, is...
your other host, Khalid Hussein.
What's up, Khalid? How's it going?
What's up, Joe? It's going great. You know, just a nice leisurely President's Day off.
Leisurely,
yeah, I would say.
Yeah. I'm good, too. Thanks for asking, Khalid.
Yeah. Do you have a good day off?
Yeah, that's fine. You might have noticed I'm wearing a blanket.
I wasn't sure. It looked almost like it could be a shirt.
Yeah, previous to recording, Khalid was like, "Are you wearing a blanket?" And I was like, "That's for you to find out."
And I did find out now.
It's very cold. It's very cold in Minnesota. It's we're in like a cold weather advisory. It's going to get to like negative, like, I don't know, 17 or something, like negative 35 plus wind chill. So yeah, it's pretty cold.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna complain less next time it's like 45 degrees and I'm like,
yeah,
brr.
45 is like balmy.
I'm beginning to understand that. Dang. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. No, it's fine. That's why I got that's why I got a heater next to me. It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. But I am really excited to bring in our guest. We have a returning guest, Khalid. Joining us is all the way from right next to you is Erik Kollasch, who was on the podcast 3 times prior to this, episode 22, The Thing, episode 33 on the Dimension Films double feature with Phantoms and the Faculty, and one of our Xenomania episodes, number 65, on aliens. And so welcome back, Erik. How's it going?
I'm great, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for coming back on.
My pleasure, man. This is a long time coming. I was pushing to do this movie on pretty much every other episode I did. So thank you for appeasing me.
I do think you mentioned it every time. Yeah, you said, I want to come do Slither.
He has been very consistent about doing this. I will give him that.
It was a favorite of mine. I had the DVD when I was in high school, and I used to watch it with my friends. I've seen it probably over 10 times, and it's just so fun, and I love we used to quote it to each other at school, and it's just great.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm excited to dig into this one. Erik, since you've been on, it's been a little while. Has there been any like cool things that you've been up to, like things you want to plug?
Plugging. I guess the main thing is the documentary. I probably have mentioned this before, but we're still working hard on that. A lot of editing to do. There's so much footage, and we went back to Sri Lanka again last month to shoot some more. And my friend Jay, who the documentary is about, performed on New Year's Eve on this big music festival in front of like 3,000 people. So we got some cool footage of that. And I also worked on a horror short film. I edited it, and we won Best Horror Short at the New York City Horror Film Festival. So,
what's it called?
That is called Never Let You Go.
Interesting.
Directed by the homie Alex Dominici. Shout out to you.
That's awesome. What is the documentary called?
Where I'm From. It's the name of his hit song that blew up over in Sri Lanka.
Okay, cool. I will look for that. We'll have to look for that as well. I knew you were working on the documentary. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So that being said, Erik, thank you for being here. I do want to do a quick housekeeping plug for our buddy Jimmy Tandberg, who's been doing the art for the podcast. He is helping us put together merch for the podcast too. And so we are going to be having t-shirts with our logo, which I know all 3 of us are actually on the list to get. So if you're interesting and interested, I am going to be posting the image that will be, it's just our logo, but I'm going to be posting it on our social sites. Find us at Frankenpod, Franken Podcast at Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, those ones. and check out the logo. And if you want it, comment or send us a message with what size. We're going to do like a big batch order with like really nice quality at first. And then we'll probably eventually move to like a print on demand down the road. But this first batch will be like super nice. So yeah, look for that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So I am pretty excited to dig into this one, but I do have a question for you two.
Go on.
Yeah. So how the movie that we're talking about, how would the slugs from this movie get into a certain wizarding school?
They would slither in.
I would say they would take the Hogwarts Express, but that's just me.
No, Khalid, you got it. They would slither in.
Okay.
That's a segue, Khalid. What are we talking about today?
Thanks
I was
for
so
asking,
proud.
bro.
I kind of hate you. I was so proud of that one.
It's so easy. There's only like so many guesses. It's gonna be the title usually. Like, all right. Anyways,
It was a good one.
I liked it.
Thanks, Eric.
we've come a long way since Bodybuilder. Thanks for asking, Joe. Today we're talking about the 2006 film Slither, written and directed by James Gunn. And I've got a synopsis from your homeboy, me, and it goes a little something like this. Aliens, possession, funky playlists. A small southern town is invaded by creepy creatures with insidious plans to make a movie. James Gunn gathers familiar faces as well as some new ones to answer the question, should we all give tentacle porn a chance? Date night just got a little gooier with this romantic body horror comedy.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Boom. Another banger, Khalid. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like that. That was good. So, Eric,
Yes.
you touched on it briefly. Like, you love this movie. You've seen it more than 10 times.
Mhm.
What about it do you love?
I love that there's so many different styles of kill scenes. It's not all one vibe. Like there's different vibes for the different scenes and the killings. And it's cool. It seemed like one of the first movies that had like multiple styles of horror within it, as far as like it's like a video game. Like with Last of Us, you have like, it has a spit attack and it has a zombie thing that's going on with the worms and just different. I just love the special effects. I love the comedy is great to me, or at least it was to my high school self. It still holds up for the most part, but I just love the one-liners. I love the characters. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. I like what you said about like the different kills, and it kind of like correlates with the different like phases of the monster of it all, which we will definitely be getting into. But Khalid, did you have any background with Slither before this?
Only Eric's many-year campaign to get us to watch and discuss it. The only other familiarity I had with it was like, I guess when the trailers came out, we were in high school. It was definitely that point in my life where I was just like, no thanks. Looks gross, looks creepy, no thanks. And so I managed to steer clear of it up until the age of 35. And I still question if I'm old enough to have seen some of
that. You've come a long way, buddy.
So did you like it, Khalid?
Yeah, I think I did like it. Just to get the headline out the way. It was a good time. I do think it helps that I have James Gunn's like filmography since then to kind of inform a lot of it. But even beyond that, I got to echo a lot of what Eric was saying. Tonally, it just shifts so flawlessly between like subgenres within this genre. I love that it's kind of got like this like old timey horror vibe to it of like a small town like besieged by these monsters. I think that everything that Michael Rooker is doing in it is really good. It's at this point the hallmark James Gunn thing of like humanizing the monster and like making you root more for that character than the heroes at times. I love the hive mind thing. That's always cool, and it's done so well here. It gives the monsters a little bit more of like a side to all of this versus just being an antagonist. And yeah, the cast overall just I love that James Gunn just has that like returning carousel of actors that really make it feel like a theater troupe. Whenever he puts a production on, there's this like extra energy of like, oh, they all really enjoy doing this together. So yeah, I'm excited to talk more in depth about it. But overall, just it was actually a very sweet movie, all things considered. What about you, Joe? What'd you think?
I loved it. I did see this in high school when it came out, so I had some fond memories of it then. That being said, I hadn't watched it since then. Like I remember really enjoying it, but I just hadn't gotten around to seeing it. So this is actually my second watch, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like I wasn't I think like you're saying, Khalid, like having James Gunn's like filmography post this movie, like I was wondering how that would really color my take on it, because when I saw it, like I had really no idea who James Gunn was, and then I remember seeing Super, his second movie, and being like, "Oh, this guy's got some takes on things," you know. But like it was weird, but like I mean, he just like like he's his rise to like I don't know, king of superhero movies has been so like in the public eye, so it's just interesting to like kind of draw this line back to like where he started. And um I mean, I got some information of like where he came. It was even out before this too, but like ultimately the movie, like I really enjoyed it. Like being a fan of practical effects, there's a lot of really cool practical effects, some really cool blending of like CGI and practical. So just a lot of good artistry on it. And like you're saying, the cast really makes it. Like I think the Nathan Fillion's character, like the sort of befuddled hero element, where he's not this like confident. He's kind of confident, but he's always just got this like what the hell face, and that's that's actually it leads to a lot of the comedy that's very funny and very fun, like, and just reminding us of the absurdity of it all in a very like earnest way that's not just constantly like winking at you.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that quite a bit. And yeah, like you said, it's like weirdly sweet, which I think that James Gunn has like really perfected, like making really weird things feel sweet and touching, and that's on display
Well
here.
said. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So I loved all of that. Love the grossness of it. The body horror was super fun. I didn't really catch this when I first watched it, but I feel like there is almost like I don't know if I'm sure other people pointed out, but there's like a Lovecraftian element to it. Like we're gonna get into it, but the monster like was referred to, like the entity is called the Long One, which again feels like a Lovecrafty kind of like term. But like this idea that there's this sort of like unstoppable force that we really can barely comprehend, like that just will like wipe us out and move on, and we're just like another piece in that, like we're nothing to that like entity. And I think that was an interesting piece, like blending all of those sort of things, and like again, like you say to Khalid, would it's sort of like classical horror, so it's like paying homage to like 50s alien invasion movies, like 80s horror comedies, and all these different vibes. So it's like a ton of stuff in a blender, and it just comes out to be something really fun.
Very well said.
Yeah. So I did want to talk a little bit about Gunn's like background before this. Do you guys know like where he came from before Slither?
I saw that. I looked him up on IMDb right before this, and I was just brushing up, and I saw that he wrote Dawn of the Dead.
He did do that. Yep.
The early 2000s version, which I love. That was also a huge.
Is that the Zack Snyder one?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that movie, and he also wrote Scooby Doo, the live action.
Yeah, he wrote both Scooby Doos.
Amazing.
Yeah. So those were his
James
big
Gunn-esque like background then.
Yeah.
James Gunn.
Yeah, I would say
Joss
so.
Whedon.
I would say so, but
there's something very Gunn-esque about his path, his career trajectory.
you nailed it.
What do you?
I was trying to say Joss
What do you? Oh, I see. What are you trying to say, Khalid?
No, very James Gunn-esque. The most James Gunn-esque you could be.
I would say this
arguably, yes. But yeah, so like you're right, he did those movies, and those are kind of his like Hollywood stuff. But prior to that, he began his like filmmaking journey with Troma Entertainment. Are you guys familiar with Troma?
Just in passing, I never watched any of the movies.
I've seen a few.
You've seen a few, okay? Yeah. Then you kind of know the vibe. So like Lloyd Kaufman is the studio, like ran the studio, and he actually has a cameo in Slither. Lloyd Kaufman like sitting in the police station at one point. But it's like B movie trash as a product, like exploitation, low budget, super gory, often like sometimes offensive, reveling in the fact that their trash is kind of like the vibe. Like Toxic Avenger is one of the big ones. Killer Condom, which I think we've talked about before randomly. But James Gunn had a hand in one of their bigger ones called Tromeo and Juliet, which is like just a exploitative version of Romeo and Juliet in like 1980s Manhattan or something.
It's
So or
more
1990s
exploitative
Manhattan.
than the 13-year-old love suicide plot.
Like that. Yes, I think. I mean, just watch the trailer, man. It is bonkers.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's where he comes from. Like, and I think like he's really pulling from that like sort of that vibe with Slither, and we kind of see that like ironed out, I guess, as he starts to do PG-13 movies too. But like it pokes through.
Yeah, I will say, there's a lot of charm to this movie, but having seen what he makes since this and what he achieves, like kind of going for like those same emotional beats in other projects, like this is definitely a more rough around the edges James Gunn, which is fair. You know, it's 2006. Like he's got dang near 20 years of experience since then to bring to the table. But it's really interesting to watch it like in that sense of like a lot of it feels regressive compared to how far he's come.
Yeah, I mean it's his directorial debut, really.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like his first big thing he did. Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I do feel like there were moments where I was like, okay, that feels like a signature James Gunn. Like, I feel like the ending where we had like the song playing over the zombie walking, I was like, that feels like very James Gunny. But like other parts, like
Yeah.
yeah, you could see like rough around the edges, like you're saying.
Yeah, you could tell he's still finding his voice, and he's leaning more into the genre than his own voice. But there were moments like we were talking while we were watching it, like the scenes where it's cutting. One scene in particular, like when they're the deer hunting kickoff party, and it's cutting between that and like him impregnating the first woman. It's like this funny country song cutting to like this horrific image, and that's very James Gunn.
Yeah, that was that exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's some really cool like visual language. I think that seemed to be like his own unique touch, like you're saying.
I do love the mayor. The mayor felt
Yes.
like a really well fleshed out Gunn character. Definitely see types like that in later movies, but he's just like such a fun iteration here. I recognize the actor from Gilmore Girls, where my Gigi head's at. Shout out Gigi Hive. But yeah, no, he's always delightful. Whenever I see him and stuff come up, he's just got like this like mannerism to him of just like smug, rich, and like cartoonish. And I feel like James Gunn really tapped into that.
Yeah, his screaming was great. All of his little fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, his incredulity. He how relatable though was his freak out over the Mr. Pibb?
Very.
Like right, like everything sucks, and on top of that, we don't have Mr. Pibb right now.
It's the straw that broke the Slither's back.
Oh, there you go. Welcome to the podcast.
I knew you'd like that. Thank you.
I did.
Okay.
Did you? So, Eric, you're saying like there are like lines that you've just quoted from this, like over time. What are some of your top lines?
It was kind of frustrating because Khalid would be on his phone once in a while. I'd be like, he's gonna say the thing.
God damn it, Khalid.
The first one is when he says meat. He just like looks in the fridge like meat, and then he goes to the grocery store and he's like meat. That was one my friends would always quote to each other, and then another one was when the old man first sees the creature, and he's like, "It looks like something that fell off my dick in the war." And Khalid was like, "What does that even mean?"
Such a great line.
Like, I think it's a venereal disease reference. There was even what was the other one? I mean, just when you see when you first see the impregnated woman, and she's like, just all of her lines are great. Like, just like, I don't feel too good, or something's wrong with me. That's what it is. These little fuckers are tearing me apart.
These fuckers are tearing me apart. That was great. That was great.
Nice, Khalid.
Yeah. That scene was holy shit. the barn scene with the overinflated pregnant woman. I don't know what we were expecting to see, but that was not it. Yeah, no, that was gross. I will say, I try to stay away from that. This is a plot hole thing or whatever. But what's going on with Elizabeth Banks' character? Because I asked Eric at one point in the movie, I was like, "How long would it take for you to find out, like, or to guess that I'm possessed by an alien when it's like not like trying that hard?" And she failed. She failed that test a couple of times. But my biggest question is, how do you not smell a bunch of rotten meat right under you? Because
That's a valid
a couple
question.
days to start the real rotting process.
Did you see
True.
the amount of dead animals and carcasses that were down there?
How long was that time period?
That was like within a couple days, 2-3 days.
Okay.
And that brings me to my other question. This guy is bringing a veterinarian's worth of animals into his house in like 16 hours. Nobody is like picking up on the trail. This is a very unobservant town.
Yeah, when I was describing the character to Kalia at first, I was comparing it to Men in Black with the guy Edgar, and how he kind of plays that character. Rooker plays that type of a character. But then when I was watching it again, because it's been about it's probably been 15 years since I've seen this. That like he has much more cognitive ability than just the Edgar character. And I think that's what I loved about the meat line, because it reminded me of the sugar water line. But he had full like sentences he was saying, and
I mean, he had full,
especially through the other
like it wasn't like a bug in his body doing
very true. He even cried. He had emotion.
Yeah, that was touching. To your question though, Khalid, like Elizabeth Banks not noticing he was an alien, I think it speaks to like, I mean, if you're asking Eric that question, like you two have a closer bond relationship than they had. Right? Like it was not a very like loving marriage. Like I feel like that was like a point that was pointed out even like by the other characters.
When he gets possessed, that's when he's like actually gives a shit about her. And I'm so confused at that. Because it's like, if it's the alien warlord thing that like just consumes planets and shit, why does he care? And if it's Rooker's character, it took him this long to be like, let's give this a shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to take a chance on us now that I am subletting my body to a demon alien.
That was the one plot hole this time watching it. I was like, okay. I mean, can we get into this, or I don't know how you wanted to
get into it, Eric.
Okay. So that was the one issue I was like, or it's just kind of an interesting theory of like, so this creature comes in, it happens to infect this man first, and he winds up being the voice of the hive, right? Like he's speaking through the other people and everything. And I'm like, what if it landed and like on other planets, presumably like infects like a random deer or something, and is that going to be like the brain of the hive on that planet? And then like it goes and finds its other doe wife, and like it's like creating a nice romance scene for that doe. Like what? Because it's presumably done this he said billions of years. Like
my theory is that
humans are smarter.
Belligerent. They're so belligerent and hard to control.
Yeah.
Compared to most animals.
So true.
That a southern white man was able to just like strong arm his way to like the microphone.
Yes. I love that. Yeah.
Literally. Did you hear about how he dislocated his arm?
No.
Yeah, the scene where he like Michael Rooker like puts his arm around Elizabeth Banks like neck, and then like the tentacle grows out of his hand, right? With like when the cops first see him, he like reached his arm like around to kind of like add to the effect.
Yeah.
And apparently dislocated his like shoulder doing that and didn't tell anybody till after production.
I was wondering why it looked so painful. I was like, it's just a headlock, dude. Like,
yeah.
Why are you even doing the Mr. Fantastic thing right now?
Yeah, so commitment, I guess, on his part. But I think that's an interesting point, though. Like, the creature going to planet, like infecting it, like the scenes that we do see of it infecting another planet, it's like very like animalistic, and like I wonder if just like the fact that it's like now it's I don't know. I mean, it's presumably it should have attacked societies before, but like the notion that like it like bonds with its host and like gets those mentalities, like generally it's probably just replicating on instinct to just take over, and it's just like that's what it does. And then in this case, like, oh, now it's like got these like jumbled emotions and feelings. It's like I don't know really know how to place those, and this is kind of coming out
Yeah.
in different ways. So I'm sure that's got to be like some element behind the writing process of this.
My favorite sequence, probably other than the barn itself, which was just so awesome, was probably like the farmhouse getting attacked, like the family. I think
Oh yeah.
I think that was just such a cool little, like, it almost felt like a little horror short within it.
Yes.
And I could have watched like another 45 minutes of just like that farm family. What did you guys think of it, with everything with like the clawfoot bathtub and everything?
Yeah, it was all really cool. Like,
It's
yeah,
like
you're right.
fun.
Like, it was just like a bunch of, like you're saying, a bunch of different like sequences and stuff like within this movie that were all just like set pieces that were all really cool. Like, I think you're right. Like, I like that one. I liked, I kind of liked when the deer attacked him because it looked so dumb.
It's so
In the
dumb.
police
I didn't
station.
realize it was a deer.
It made me laugh. That was funny. I don't know. I don't know if this is supposed to be bad, but that was really bad and funny.
I like the stakeout too. When
stakeout was
it
great.
cuts the guy in half.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was intense.
Very cool. Did you, so it's clear that this is like an homage to like lots of like horror that James Gunn loves. Did you catch a lot of like the explicit references to other things?
Honestly, no. Which I feel embarrassed about because I thought I was like a horror guy, but
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the big ones is the mayor, Jack McCready, is a reference to Kurt Russell's character in The Thing, R.J. McCready.
that's all.
The high school is Earl Bassett High, which is Fred Ward's character in Tremors, Earl Bassett.
Oh.
Nice.
That's cool. There's a store called Max Wren, which is the main character in Cronenberg's Videodrome. That was cool. So like stuff like that. The bathtub scene is of course like Nightmare on Elm Street, but also kind of like Cronenberg's 75 movie Shivers. So like there's those like kind of like the way it's shot to reference those. Also, in terms of a cameo, Dr. Carl, who Elizabeth Banks calls later on, is Rob Zombie.
No way. I
Yeah,
didn't notice.
yeah. Kind of a fun fact.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's like lists on the internet of like all the movies that Slither references. One of the ones that it's like accused of plagiarizing though is this like 80s movie called Night of the Creeps. And a lot of people like criticized the movie when it first came out. They're saying like it like directly plagiarized it in some capacity. But James Gunn like does dispute that because he's like, I actually hadn't seen Night of the Creeps until after this controversy came out. And he's like, I think Night of the Creeps is just paying homage to the same things I'm paying homage to. So I don't know. I actually don't remember. I might have seen Night of the Creeps, so I can't speak to it. But that was just one thing that I guess that's a pretty lot of explicit references that people were trying to draw to, even though he says it was not intentional. But I mean, I think something that's so like referential as this, like you're gonna run into people being like, "That's a copy of that," you know?
Yeah, very much a Tarantino move. I think like it's just a Frankenstein movie of all these things.
I mean, yeah, this movie just really does a good job of making you feel like you've seen this type of movie before.
Yeah, and even
Feels
the
familiar,
first time
yeah.
I saw it, it's like it feels familiar and like comforting, and like it's hitting these beats that you love, but also fresh because it's doing things you've never seen before, like the giant woman. And like, yeah, I was like, the first time I saw this, I was like, I'd never seen any horror like anything like that. I think I saw this before I ever saw The Thing.
Yeah, that's definitely unique. Do you guys know what the original title of this was before they changed it to Slither?
Slather.
Mm-mm. It's a good guess though. Wiggle.
Wiggle?
Yeah, the producers requested they change it because they did not think it sounded threatening.
I think they made the right choice.
Yeah,
Sounds like a
about
pop
Wiggle.
song in the Caribbean or something.
The Wiggles.
Steel drum just starts playing. Oh, it's time to wiggle! Like,
That's a kids' TV show. That's like
It is the Wiggles. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. One other thing I want to ask you guys too about. So we talked about the characters being great. What did you think of the Kylie character? So the girl that survived the farmhouse attack, who kind of was able to deliver kind of that the exposition.
That's literally the only reason she was brought into this.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of very like just ornamental for the parts of the movie she is in outside of that exposition dump.
Yeah.
Kind of really feels like they could have just like let Nathan Fillion just get
Have that
a
happen.
psychic link with the slug if that's all it meant, because I narratively she didn't do much for the story.
I think that's fair. I did think that the idea of like somebody who almost got taken over by the slugs, but like beat it, and to have that psychic link is like, okay, now I know like what's kind of going on. Like it was sort of a fun way to get exposition in there,
Yeah.
you know, like to make that happen. And I did like the callback to like, I don't know if you would call them like, I don't know, Chekhov's nails, where she was like talking about getting her nails done and how they're all sharp and that's what saves her.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was hoping
Like that was kind of fun.
I was hoping that she would have more of like a Ellen Ripley kind of arc going from the bathtub onward, where like it just felt like there was like a position for that, because we've got Nathan Fillion as like the strong jawed hero trying to save Starla, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we've got Elizabeth Banks, like the damsel, and they've got their arcs. I feel like there is an opportunity to kind of just make this other girl the scream queen slug killer, and they settled for just she gets that one kind of cool scene.
Well, she did kill the deer.
Yeah.
That's true, but the deer looked silly as hell. So
It was great.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, I get what you're saying, though. I think I like the idea, but I think that there would have been nice to see a little bit more with, like, especially what she went through in the house, like, was awful for
Her
her. You know,
whole
like,
family got.
yeah, it was so fucked up.
The little
Yeah.
girls were so creepy when they're standing
Right.
outside.
Yeah, what they say is like.
Oh yeah, there's one line when they turn to Nathan.
So itchy or something.
Oh yeah, he's like, it must be a poison ivy from out back, right?
And then they both just look like so itchy.
It was so good. Oh man, I bet they had fun.
Just trying so hard not to give away that they're possessed.
Do you either of you have any like other like story thoughts before we move on to like monster stuff specifically?
I don't think that Nathan Fillion's character survives getting pumped with even just half of that fluid. I don't agree with the baseless notion that only one tentacle means you're okay. Like that girl just kind of casually threw out there.
I mean, she said it didn't impregnate him. I mean, he could still be like diseased.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
so much fluid went into him. Like he was spitting it up. I just I don't buy it. I think he gets like maybe a day or two extra and then just he's gone.
I don't know if he'll survive the walk. Like I thought that when at the end when they're like the camera's panning out, I thought they were walking to that truck and then they just passed the truck like they're just going to walk to the next town.
Yeah, you could grab a car. Like he said, it was 10 miles.
Yeah, that's a long walk if you got pumped full of fluid from tentacles.
Yeah, and then Homegirl had a whole couch thrown on her. Honestly, like they've seen better days. They should just wait for the cavalry.
It was a good spot to end the movie because you don't really want to explain the next part.
Yeah, that was good instincts on his part.
Yeah. Shall we monster?
Let's monster.
Yes, let's monster. So as I mentioned, the creature in this is a single entity called the Long One, which is it's a parasitic alien life form, only one of its kind that we know of, travels across the universe in a cycle of consumption and destruction in search of new life-bearing planets to infect and feast upon. It does have a hive consciousness when it creates its like parasitic life forms to take over everything on the planet, which the characters refer to as a conscious disease, which was an interesting metaphor, I thought. There are 4 primary forms, and then I'm going to give the names that are on the wiki site, but these are like not official from like James Gunn or the production. I think it's just what people came up with. They call the Needle the original host that like stabbed Grant. Or aside, I'm sorry, we forgot to mention Grant. Michael Rooker, his name was Grant.
Yeah. I was so confused for like
that was funny
because like some people would call him Mr. Grant and then other people would call him Grant, and I was just like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So yeah, Grant. Yeah, the needle stabbed him. Then there's the primary host, which was Grant. Like he's the one who's morphing. The womb, which is where the two tentacles impregnate, and that was Brenda, who got really big. And then there was eventually more down in the basement later on, which I think the mayor becomes a womb, right?
Yeah.
Because he starts eating the meat. And then of course the slugs, which infect sort of like the people to just become the hive. So that's kind of the in-universe like vibe of the creature. But the actual like bringing it to life were split among lots of prosthetics and practical effects created by Todd Masters, who we've talked about a lot on the podcast before, and digital imagery, which was produced under visual effects supervisor John Gajdecki is his name. So it was kind of a combo of CGI and practical, which I thought ultimately looked. I'm going to get into it more deeper, but I thought ultimately like everything looked pretty good other than that deer. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think for the time it was really great, like CGI. Just the way like the little slugs were like when the one comes into the bathroom window and is like crawling up, like it really gave me like the shivers. A little reference there.
Good Cronenberg reference, yeah.
But there were times as well where I was like, that looks kind of cheesy, like, but I mean, you got to just accept it for the time that it was made, just because I wasn't that great back then. Like his the tubules as they call them, like his impregnation tubules.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was all like that was all digital, and that was you could tell that was digital.
Yeah.
I was a fan of the prosthetic work in this, especially everything with Rooker. I think that. I don't know. When you're talking about something this like Lovecraftian, ultimately in design, I think that it gives you a little bit of leeway in how realistic you want it to even look. And like you're kind of working backwards from a striking feature and then bringing it back to reality. I think working that way is just a little bit more like interesting to look at. So everything going on with Rooker when he's like in his final form and it's like he's got like half of his jaw exposed and it's just like this like giant prosthetic on him. I like that, you know? I think that it the creature design can really help like add to like the lore of the creature and like your mind can kind of start like running away with like theories because of it, how intricate it looks.
Yeah, I think the practicals were the best part for sure. And like when she, again, back to the bathroom scene, when she's like digging her fingernails into it and like throws it against the wall, like it feels so real because it's a real prosthetic. And yeah, I did think Michael Rooker's character, I said earlier to Cleet, it reminded me of that Resident Evil character, the guy that's like walking around with a giant, what does he have, like a machine gun or something?
Oh, yeah.
Nemesis.
Yes,
right?
Nemesis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave me a bit of Nemesis vibes.
That's a good reference. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that looks great. So I want to start with like the specifics of the parasite slugs. So like we see most of them are CGI and digital, but like you said, Eric, there were some that were practical. So again, Todd Masters, who created the practical effects here, he says in this kind of interesting interview, which I'll link in our show notes, that they made the slugs. It was made from a material that's often used to mass produce sex toys. It was a thermal gel that was made of a strong and elastic material developed for that adult novelty toy industry. So they had to buy like tons of sex toys and melt them down to make the mold for the slugs, which actually was challenging because this was created like during like the Iraq War. And then apparently like some of that material would come from like petroleum initially. And so there was a shortage of like these kinds of sex toys that they needed. And so when they were getting them, they were like piling them on these tables. And he actually has a story where he talks about a client who wanted to hire their services out, like touring the studio, and just like the first thing he saw when he walked into the shop was like the mountain of sex toys. So, which is pretty great.
I wonder, do you think when they ran out, like when there was a shortage, they had to like go try to buy some used ones, or
perhaps? I mean, if you're just melting them down, maybe why not?
That story had a lot of unexpected twists and turns, but when you said the Iraq War,
this is actually a political film.
It is.
Just record scratch over.
You're just like, what? Yeah,
and
let's keep you guys on your toes.
Of course, that brought in the Iraq War.
Yeah, this is a Bush era film.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. The next effect I want to talk about, which is the Brenda, the woman who was pregnant with the giant slugs. So the character was Brenda, and the actor was also named Brenda, who played her. So that helps, I suppose. But they created a 12-foot diameter ball of silicone fat, which served as the prosthetic for her character. She had to crawl into like the behind of it, and then go through and like rest her head out of a hole in the front, which they were able to then like kind of put stuff to mold onto or make it look like she was part of it. She apparently, the actor, didn't realize she would have to do prosthetics when she took the role, because I don't think she had read that far. And so when she was meeting with the effects team, she's like, "What do I have to do here?" And they're like, "Oh, okay." Like quite a bit.
What don't you have to do?
Yeah.
You know what you signed up for.
Yeah. But so ultimately, when she was in there, they had puppeteers and teams of puppeteers and like technicians working like levers and pressure gauges and moving platforms to like make the body like move and gyrate and all that, to like make it seem like there was a bunch of slugs in there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we just after we watched the film, we watched one of the deleted scenes, like one of the deleted the documentary features. Behind the scenes bonus features, which I remember watching a lot on my DVD as well. And that was one of the reasons actually I was like getting into film. Like I just used to love watching those behind the scenes videos, and got me into this crazy business.
Yeah, it really did just look like a playground with some of the effects and puppetry that they were able to do, like with the Brenda monster specifically. Like, that's crazy. Just conceiving of it, executing it, like so much stuff that you have to just kind of like make up for the first and presumably last time.
Yeah, like you're like inventing processes to make this work that who knows if it'll be used again for something. I don't know. It's just, it's fun. A playground is a good way to put it. It just looks like a fun thing to do sometimes. I'm sure it's very stressful, but
yeah, I mean, I feel like by now we all kind of like recognize that James Gunn sets are like an enjoyable place to be. He just always, all the actors that work with him have nothing but great things to say, but it's like seeing the behind the scenes and stuff. It's like, oh, it's a fun time for everybody.
Yeah, and he is like a kind of a champion of like practical effects and like treating like VFX workers with respect to like, which shouldn't be like a thing to be praised for, really.
Yeah,
like it's
that's such a low bar.
It's a low bar, but like I mean, like I know his like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was like one of the largest like amount of like practical like prosthetics on when they went to that planet. I remember with the animal people, like in the like recent history of a movie, basically like the most like practical effects made. And I know like he slowed down production of Superman to make sure the VFX workers had time, so it wasn't like rushed out. Like that stuff's like, that's good. And it's like, I think that's on display here, that he like has an appreciation for what these people are doing, for sure.
Yeah, big ups to him for that.
Yeah.
The last effect is like the Grant, the host, basically. So one of the coolest ones I think shot was him moving across the field, like during the stakeout, like you were talking about, Eric. That was all created practically, and it took multiple puppeteers who were digitally erased to kind of like move him through that field. That was really cool. Yeah,
that was awesome.
I could have sworn that was VFX. That's impressive.
Yeah, there might have been some digital enhancements, of course. Like I think when he was exiting the field, like leaving when he was going fast, but like when you see like the wide shot of him just kind of crossing the field, that was all like practical. It sounds like Michael Rooker had like a 3-hour-long makeup application process to make the final form. And then of course they had the additional actors incorporated into the growing mass of the monster, which I think Sean Gunn was in there. I think.
Oh no way!
Yeah, because
he's got to be.
People.
Yeah.
That was a
cool moment.
Cool.
Like that one dude, like he gets like butt naked and you just start seeing
just
like
like
that was like
amazing.
That all of that looked really seamless.
Yeah, that was really cool. And it sounds like, according to Nathan Fillion, I'm not sure how he's the one who said it, but it was about 80 pounds of prosthetics that Michael Rooker had to wear during that final like sequence.
Jesus,
that's too much.
It's a lot, but it looked really cool. And like you said, like the merging people, that was so like, I think that adds to like the Lovecraftian element of it, just like this mess of bodies.
Yeah, it's so
gnarly.
Special head nod to the grenade. They do a whole Chekhov's gun thing with it the whole time, and it like ultimately doesn't. It's a very fun.
Does it,
Yeah,
does
which
it do anything? Yeah.
Khalid coined that guns grenade.
Yeah, you've heard of Chekhov's gun. This is Gun's grenade.
Guns grenade. I love it. Where it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, great little fake out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the main effect stuff. The only other like kind of interesting thing about the behind the scenes effects that I had is so like when Starla first goes down to the basement and sees all like the dead animals, like those were all, you know, props and stuff. But apparently the prop dog that falls from the ceiling, apparently James Gunn thought it looked so like realistic, like the actual dog that was on set, that it actually like kind of bothered him, and he like couldn't really look at it. And he said that he felt like he was saying something because he's comes from like these like exploitative like gore type movies. He's like, oh, that really made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it has a line. That's what.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it'd be worse if like that's where he's like, yeah, James Gunn would just like kept talking about how real it was and then just smiling.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Yeah, I know. Like watching this, so like watching this movie, I think that the stuff that James Gunn has gone on to do with superhero and comic book movies has been cool. But like I kind of like I'm bummed out that he's tied to that so much. Like I want to see him do some like weird horror shit, you know, like go back to like some sort of like indie thing, you know?
Yeah.
Did he do Brightburn?
I think like
That's
isn't it implied?
movie?
It's a superhero movie, but I can't remember if he did that one or not. Because like it seems like even when he steps away from the studio fare, he's still kind of making that kind of stuff. So like I don't know, like you know, Super was like another one of his.
Super was like
an actual thing that like you know it'd be one thing if it was like, oh man, they got Scorsese making another Superman movie, but like this is kind of his bread and butter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. Like the Super one is weird because like I feel like it was someone else's like listed as a director, but I feel like there's people who say like that was just like a pseudonym, not a pseudonym, or like he was like a shadow director, and James Gunn mostly did it, but didn't want his name on it for some reason. I don't know. That's weird, but yeah, I don't know. I think like I do think like I do appreciate like the stuff he brought to like Marvel and I guess now DC. Like, I mean, he's seems to have worked kind of hard to make like kaiju canon in both universes, right?
Which it should not be that big of a fight. Like you're talking about
No, but
people
it's
that
cool.
like routinely like pick up buildings. Like let them fight a giant monster. That shouldn't be your line. It shouldn't be where you're like, whoa, hold up, Bucko.
But he's the one continually doing it though. Like what? Like Peacemaker, the giant like cow bug at the end. Like, and then they had the Starro one. Like, he's had a couple kaiju that he's put into his things.
No, and I love it every time. I think it.
I do too.
I think it just really boils down to also like he's also one of the few directors that's up to that as a task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know that a lot of other directors are like eager to try and make like their kaiju superhero movie.
Probably true. And I think it also goes back to like he's just good at blending like weird, funny, and sweet somehow. And like that just kind of like works to like, oh, what the fuck is that kind of vibe, you know?
He is good at that.
Yeah.
A broken, talented man.
A broken, talented man. Okay.
You're gonna lie? You're gonna be like, oh yeah, that movie I just watched felt like it came from a well-adjusted man.
I mean, it sounds like he's a weird dude sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that he had a cameo until Khalid pointed it out in the beginning.
Oh yeah, the teacher, the science teacher, or whatever. That was so funny.
For Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
Because I was like, at first I was like, wait, is he doing like the Marvel thing, like with what's his name?
Oh, Stan Lee.
Like Stan Lee. But then we were like, wait, this is pre-Marvel for sure. You know, pre that version of Marvel. So he must just be doing like, I don't know, like a Hitchcock thing, or I guess that's people have been doing that forever, but
Shyamalan kind of did it for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe he just, you know, they spent all the budget on the prosthetics that they couldn't afford another extra.
They could get one more person.
Yeah, we literally spent the last of our background money on this prosthetic.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts about this movie?
It was a fun time. Yeah, I really think it's like a good like date night movie. Weirdly enough, if and yeah, I think the performances are all good. It holds up pretty well considering like there's not a lot of movies from 2006 that I would like have fun talking about.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I think, yeah, I loved it. Even after all these years, it still it brought me joy, made me smile. And yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any final thoughts on that beyond like the monster. Yeah, no, I'm just I'm grateful that it exists.
Do you still have your old DVD?
You know what? It's could be in my parents' basement somewhere. They definitely it's probably in a pile somewhere.
They recently, I don't know if recently is the right word, like a couple years ago, there was a new Blu-ray release of it, though, that I've heard is pretty fun, like with some cool new extras. So
Oh,
might be
that's
worth an
great.
upgrade.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah. Speaking of loving to see things, Khalid,
Sure.
would you fight or flirt with the Grant monster?
You know, I think it's because Grant is like such a driving force in the creature for this monster. Also, for those of you who might not know, Fight or Flirt is a segment that kind of sounds like what it is. Would I fight or flirt with the monster in the movie in question? And yeah, back to my point. The Grant monster, they really try to like drive the humanity of it, but also I saw Grant as a human. He was not great to Starla. And so I just don't think that the alien that's like now co-hosting his body is like the kind of like change I would need to see in him to like take him on as like a romantic partner. Um, so that coupled with the fact that like it's not like the xenomorph, you know what I mean? There are a lot of stages of this monster that are arguably pretty easy to defeat, you know, with like little to no information. Up to and including the Grant monster at the end. Like, even that's beatable if you've just got like a couple of folks with you.
But at that point, when you have a village of zombies, like when everyone around you,
Again, like it's no xenomorph. You know what I mean? Like I would much rather deal with this monster than the xenomorph in any state.
so that's the bar, that the xenomorph bar.
It's doing xenomorph shit.
I mean, there is some sexual elements, yes.
Yeah, it's like possession people. It's got the tentacles going in you. It's got the little like runners. You know, like I don't think that the acid spit. You know, I don't think this is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, like when I put it on the xenomorph scale, it falls short of like unbeatable to me. So that coupled with just like again, like I don't buy that Grant is like finally turning into the person that you can have a relationship with. I call bullshit. And so for those reasons, I have to say that I would fight and not flirt.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think yeah, it's interesting. Like he was not a good dude before that, but like the alien, you know, for a little bit made him better, you know, in some senses. But like I think you've said this before, Colleen. I'm surprised you didn't go this way. The idea of like flirting to fight, right? Like because that's kind of what Starla does, right? Like when she hears the song, which is what "You're Every Woman in the World to Me," Air Supply.
Yeah.
When she hears the song, which that was the one overlaid. Yeah, that was very James Gunn. She like was like, no, I'm gonna play it up like the wifely duties thing, and then like ready to like stab right when she gets the chance to, which kind of worked, right? Like it led to ultimately getting the defeat, but like I don't know.
I just don't think you need to even try that hard. I don't think that there's like you don't need to honeypot them. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
a couple of well-trained like rifles and more than one grenade, and you're kind of good.
But you have to have all that stuff,
right?
We're in presumably a red state, a small town in a red state.
Fair, yeah.
I'm gonna just hazard a guess that like
there's a few of those.
One of the neighbors has something that'll take out what is essentially just like a big stationary blob.
Yeah, you see when like the cops were like suiting up with the guns too. very
Yeah.
perfectly American.
Up. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they basically just they just like put together an impromptu lynch mob. It's like some cops
Yeah.
and just some citizens.
And the mayor.
Like,
And the mayor.
over this dude's like farmland. They don't give him much clarification. Not because I feel like if he knew what they were going after, he probably would have got his family the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was kind of crazy too when he like leans over to them. He's like, "Hey, neighbor," like when they pull up, and then he leans back to them and he's like, "If this turns out to be a mountain lion, we're screwed," or something like that. And it's like, no, you wouldn't. Like you still stopped a bunch of random cattle being killed and you put people at safety. Like, I don't think people would be mad at you for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, his character pretty goofy.
It's also kind of funny that like Nathan Fillion's like big like I'm the cop and like I'm the strategist like moment is like they cut to 3 days later and he's like, all right, so looks like based on the last 3 nights, how it goes door to door, it's probably gonna go next door.
But I think that's them leaning into the B horror comedy, you know.
That's so
That was
funny.
they actively thought that was funny. I'm sure that was very funny.
But he played it so straight. Like he was playing his
overlapping circles and exclamations. Oh, that was really funny.
Oh my god, that is a great line. That was great. Okay, yeah, this movie was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I would say, okay, to the fighting or flirting, are we all going through that?
Yeah. What would you say?
I would
Go
like
for
to get in on this. So
you've had years.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this forever. So in this scenario, like, are we pitching this as like it's definitely Grant that's infected, or could it have been some other person who's infected? Or
no, it's got to be Grant.
We're specific to the film. Okay.
Yeah, it's the creature in the movie.
I mean,
other people do get possessed in it, but they're sub-possessed by Grant.
Right. Okay. Then in that case, I'm just like, I don't know if you can fight him because like if you somehow make it to the next town, right? But then like next thing you know, like the entire fucking, you know, your whole state's going to be infected pretty quickly if he can move like fast, because they can drive cars, bro. You saw that. Like he had him sideswipe them. He had him T-boned. And he was talking to him on the phone while he did it. So, like, that's
different than, like, going, like, cross-country.
Well, say I get in a car and I'm driving to the next town. The next thing you know, like, I get there, 5 minutes later, there's a car right behind me that comes in. I'm thinking, you know, it seems kind of like, I guess if you go fast enough, you can outrun them to get to, like, some place where you can create a little militia.
I don't think it'd be that hard to whip up a posse like in that part of America. I don't think it would be that hard to whip up a posse to fight Grant.
And yeah, that being the case, I don't think I'm Grant's type. I don't think he's flirting with me at all. I think if I even tried, he would just start attacking me. So
all right, well, that sounds like a self-esteem thing.
No.
I really need you to love yourself.
Look, man, when I'm comparing myself to Elizabeth Banks, I think she's got it. I'm just going to give that to her.
Eric, buddy, you're a snack. I need you to start saying these affirmations.
Wow. You know, I need to start saying that to myself.
Look in the mirror and tell yourself you're a snack.
Hey, I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
And then pull the mirror part off and use it as a weapon.
Hey, there you go.
Eric would flee. That's kind of the point there.
You guys ever entertain that idea?
Well, that would be
like
fight or flight.
Exactly. Yeah, a flight. Yeah,
it's
flight,
a retreat, then strategic attack.
Right, but the segment is fight or flirt.
Well, the fighting, it's a 2-step fight. The first part of the fight is retreat into a strategic position and then attack strategically.
It's kind of the it follows. Yeah, just like try to outrun it, right?
Yeah. Because it's like eventually, if you don't make it in time, eventually the whole planet is this creature, including all the animals. You're going to have a hard time.
Sorry, do we ever talk about what happens if you have sex with the It Follows monster? I guess it would kill you before you could pass it on.
I thought that was
I guess that's kind of happens in it.
That's kind of what the movie's going. What's going on in the movie? I think, right?
Is the monster having sex with you until it breaks all your bones? Is that how I forget?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for derailing.
Oh.
I mean, these are the
I'm
important
just
questions.
getting now that it breaks your bones with sex. I didn't know that.
Yeah, these are the important questions our podcast is here for.
That's crazy. That was like our 5th episode.
Yeah, literally, I think it was.
Took this long to realize that.
Sorry, Eric, continue.
I don't know. That was about it.
All right, there you go. Shall we move on to our final segment of the show?
Let's do it.
All right, our final segment is our What the Fandom segment, in which we share 1 to 2, or in Khalid's case, sometimes 3 things that we are into at the moment that we want to share with you that may or may not have anything to do with monsters or the movie in question or property in question. Eric, we let our guests go last so you can think about it. Khalid, what the fandom with you this week?
Thanks for asking, Joe. My one What the Fandom this week is going to be the new Bad Bunny album, Debí Tirar Más Fotos. Bad Bunny does not really need my promotion. He is one of the most popular artists in the world. But that being said, I'm still kind of new to his music and his amazing songs. And so, yeah, if there's anybody else that's late to the game like I am, take this as a sign. Go check out Bad Bunny. His newest album is very beautiful. It's being like described as kind of like an ode to Puerto Rico and like his roots. I really love it for that. I don't understand any Spanish, and it still just like connects in such a powerful way that like really just like reminds you like what music at its like most earnest can do. Yeah, and it made me like go back and start listening to his old discography, and I'm really loving that too. It's just it's a really really enjoyable time. It's just like very well produced, bumpy, dancey music, and yeah, you're really gonna enjoy it. So check it out, the new Bad Bunny album.
They're playing it all the clubs. I was out on Valentine's Day and they were playing it a lot.
There you go, guys. LA clubs.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
That's how you know
hip.
it's cool.
Yeah. So that's for me. That's it for me. Joe, what the fandom with you?
Wow, only one today, Khalid.
It's been one for a while, Joe. You've made me self-conscious.
I'm gonna throw 2 out there actually this time. I'm gonna take a little space this time. I'm gonna do 2 movies. So I last weekend I watched at home a movie that was kind of on my watch list from last year that I just hadn't gotten around to, called Love Lies Bleeding, from director Rose Glass, I think her name was. But it's Kristen Stewart's in it, Ed Harris is in it. It's like kind of like a sweaty like 80s like action crime thriller, almost like something that Coen brothers would direct, but just like almost like seedier and like a little bit grosser. The director comes from like a horror background, and I feel like that comes through in some like really gnarly imagery that's really cool. Very like, there's like at the center of it, there's the very like electric and toxic relationship between the 2 leads that leads to like murder and all sorts of crazy mayhem. That's very fun and very interesting. So if you haven't gotten to check that out, it's a A24 movie, so it got some buzz, but I don't know if I hear it talked about as much. I thought it was really good, and I think it's on Max right now is where I saw it, so it's available to watch. Highly recommend that. Very fun. And yes, it was Rose Glass. The second one I wanted to recommend, Nicole and I got to go on a date night the other night, which is huge for us. We got to go see a movie in the theater, and we saw Companion, which was awesome. Very, very good with Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher. Very good. Interesting blend of like, I don't know, kind of like social commentary, sci-fi comedy, black comedy thriller. I don't want to say too much about it because it's still running and there are like lots of twists and turns in it. But it's a very tight, like contained movie that tells like this kind of like interesting, like sci-fi story within the confines of like one house and one little area. But you get a lot of hints at like what kind of like the context of the greater world within this concept is. And it's just like really cleverly done and really funny and like kind of like alarming and scary and heavy at times, and again like great performances from the leads and very fun. So those are my 2. I would say Love Lies Bleeding and Companion. Definitely check those 2 out. How about you, Eric? What the fandom with you?
Well, the fandom this week, I've honestly been like, I've texted so many of my friends to go watch this, including Khalid, and I watched the first episode with him. It's this new TV show on Max that it's streaming on Max, but it's an Adult Swim show called Common Side Effects. It's fantastic. It's basically the premise is it follows this this mycologist. I believe that's what they're called. Yes, a mycologist, a mushroom expert, and he basically discovers on his travels to South America this magic mushroom that has the ability to kind of heal pretty much any injury to any human or animal. And he's like basically the show revolves around him and an old friend from high school who is like an assistant to a big pharmaceutical CEO. It's very relevant because it's about the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, and just the common man like trying to survive while they have all these incentives to basically exploit us. And it's fantastic. It's funny. It's executive produced by Mike Judge, and he plays the voice of the CEO, and he's very funny. And the two creators are Joseph Bennett and Steve Healy. And I think they previously made this show called Scavenger's Reign, which ran for a season, and people seemed
Scavenger's
to like it.
Reign rules.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
a few episodes and I liked that as well. I started watching that after I ran out of episodes of this new show, but highly recommend that. It's a good time.
That is a great recommendation. I've been looking forward to checking that one out because I like Scavenger's Reign so much, and I want to support that because it's like this indie like animation like I don't know happening that I feel like Scavenger Reign kind of got fucked on HBO or Max or whatever and like got cut unceremoniously. So I'm hoping that this show does well.
Me too. And watching it, I started watching Scavenger's Reign after, and the thing that I actually prefer about Common Side Effects is that like the plot line is very strong. It's more, it's like they based it on like these old 90s like thriller films. So it has like this good like engine of a plot moving you along. So you're not like, it's not just about the environment or interesting, cool animations. It's following this strong story with these interesting characters.
I'm into it. That's awesome. Good recommendation. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, this was a fun conversation. Thank you for finally pushing us to do Slither. Really enjoyed revisiting this one.
Thank you for finally having me on for that. It made my year.
You're gonna have to find
Long overdue.
to beg us to do.
I'm
sure it won't be hard.
I know you got a chance to plug some of the projects you were on earlier on the podcast. Is there anything else you wanted to shout out or tell people to find you
I'd
anywhere?
love to shout this out. I'm not sure if Khalid has shouted this out on any recent episodes. I'm sorry, guys, I haven't been keeping up. I'm going to have to catch up on your pod. But I would say our friend of the pod, Kate McCarthy's new short film, she got into Tribeca. And it's a film I helped. I worked on it for a few days on set, and Kate's just a really great friend of ours. She just graduated from AFI Film School. This was her thesis film, and it's called the Hicks Happy Hour, and it's just so cool to see her getting this achievement. Like, I'm so proud of her, and I know Khalid is too. Like, we both worked with her on her short that actually got her into AFI. Khalid was a huge part of that. Like, it's just so cool to see her come this far and like just be crushing it in every way, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, congratulations to Kate McCarthy. Listeners might remember her from the Colossal episode. We're all just very proud of her. This is super awesome. And hopefully one day you'll be able to check out her thesis film, The Hicks Happy Hour. But yeah, just sending a lot of love her way.
Awesome. Congrats, Kate. Well, thank you, Eric. Real quick before we close out, just wanted to give a quick shout out to our producers for this podcast, our Patreon producers, Luke Johnson, Andy Groth, Jake Cole, Joe Michaud, who are at the producer level on Patreon. If you are interested in becoming a patron and supporting us, it's truly helpful. I don't know if you noticed the last episode we did on Eraserhead. I sounded poorly. Maybe not bad, but less good. But I was able to utilize some of the money to upgrade the microphone because mine unexpectedly quit on me after 5 years of having it. So now I was able to use some of that to let you all hear my voice better. I think is that a compliment to somebody paying us? I hope. But yes, it's very helpful, and like I said, we don't have ads. So if you want to be a patron, check out our Patreon and check out our Frankenbits, our short episodes, and we have a new one coming soon. Really excited about this topic.
Oh yeah. Anybody who has been closely following the Kendrick Drake beef over the last year is gonna want to tune into that one.
Oh yeah.
I'm
oh,
tuning in. I'm tuning in. First click.
Well, yeah, Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Joe, thank you for the awesome discussion as always. Thank you all at home for listening or in your car or wherever you're listening. Until next time, creep it easy.